Thanks for tuning in. In this episode, we mount the dehumidifier. We also drill holes in the bathroom for the fill neck for the water tank, and we change out the faucet in the trailer. We're getting that much closer for this to be completely done, and we wire up all the batteries. If you're finding this content interesting, please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment down below. But right now we're going to explain why we're going away from the sump pump system that we used previously. Alright, so I'm going to talk to you about why we ditched this thing. So when I was designing this whole new system, I was planning on still using this. This basically is a switch. The more you push it, the more power it gives the little sump pump. So when we pulled the sump pump out of this 5-gallon jug, it was literally rusty. Something that's designed to be in water was rusting up. Not to mention, so it's nasty and there's like floaties of rust in here. So we use this pump on, like if I said overall it's 2 years, but we only use it on 2 road trips, right? That was it. And it still actually works, but look how nasty it is in there. So no, I got my kids, brushing their teeth and doing no. This company, no. I'm sorry, but no. So that's why we're just abandoning this. Time to work on the sink. So, want to upgrade this faucet. As you saw, the problems with the little sump pump that it came with, rusting, freaking ridiculous. It didn't really want to fit here, so I had to get that washer. It's been kind of, janky. And then the fact that it was kind of rusty, that was the nail in the coffin for me. So got this Delta. Wife likes the sort of like a little farmhouse, not quite as much as like a huge spigot, but it's pretty nice, decently priced. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this guy into here. Just gotta take this out, gotta undo all of my hard work up in there. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, so this is pretty straightforward. It's a lot easier to install the Delta faucet because it was designed to go into the sink, where this other one I kind of had to use spacers and kind of make it work. So it's also going to feel a lot nicer in there too. It's going to be a lot more sturdy when you're screwing everything in. So this part is actually pretty easy and straightforward. It's the adapting it to the pumps that is going to be a little bit challenging. Alright, waiting on parts for that. Figured we'd start with this. So this acts as 2 functions, such as we can fill up the water tank from it, and it also has a cute little vent. And then I am going to install this tank gauge, water gauge above it. So I went to the other side. We know we have a beam right there because we had to cut the beam so that it goes around the vent. We have another beam right there, and I could tell that because these screws are sticking out into nothing. So talk to my wife, she kind of likes it in about this range, so I'll probably try to center it up with this in about this range right there, and then the water gauge right above it. So that's what I'm going to do right now, but I'll show you the inside real quick. Okay, it's a little dark in here, but here's those 2 screws right there. Theoretically, it's going to be coming out right about there. So we'll just have to see what we can do about that, and see if that hose coming out can't just like tuck around that way. Might be a little concerning with the everything we're going to be putting on this shelf right there, but that's where it's got to be. So hopefully that works out. Right, so now that I figured out where I want the fill and the gauge, I'm just going to tape up the wall, so that way when I'm marking everything out, I'm not marking up the wall, and when I'm drilling it, I'm not going to have a tendency to have any of the little splinters or shards come off the drill bit and scratch up the wall. Alright, so on this side I'll have my wife hold the Allen wrench, and then I'll be on the inside of the trailer behind the wall with just tightening it all down. Definitely a two-person operation. Okay, got them in. So that looks pretty good. So what I did to just try to make everything aesthetically nice is I took roughly the center line of that, went over so that this was in the center line of that, and then this gauge is in the center line of this. And what's cool is you'll fill this up. Hopefully you see the gauge move. Hopefully. Couldn't find any black bolts, so I got some stainless socket head cap screws. I can always Sharpie them, but I think it looks pretty good in here. That's where the wife wanted it. So I'll show you the backside right now. Okay, so here's it coming through. I used nylon locking nuts with regular washers, because you can see that this is only like 1/4 inch board. So yeah, and then the gauge had its own nut that just tightened on. It said a 2-inch hole. It was a pretty tight 2-inch hole, but it did fit. So yeah, so that worked out well. Now it's time to try to figure out how to get this line from there to there. Keeping in mind there's going to be a shelf right here. Might just try to build a PCV something or other. Pipe, hard pipe, and then kind of just come around right there. We'll have to see how that works. But yeah, on to the next thing. Okay, so I'm on to how I'm going to mount the dehumidifier down. Basically, you could just put a strap and wrap a strap around it. I kind of don't want to do that. I imagine it vibrating and just marring it up. So I got this C-channel. If I had to guess, let's see, it is 1.5 by 1/2 inch high. So I took off one of the feet, and my initial thought was, if I put that on the foot and then put a bolt going through the floor down. But after looking at this, I'm thinking about just putting a bolt going through this, turning this into the new foot, and then getting some extra washers, spacing this up, tightening it down, and then drilling this hole down into the ground so it'll have this, and then we'll do it diagonally. You don't necessarily have to do one on every corner, just one on, let's say, the far corner and one on this corner. And then that way, that side can't lift up, and then this side can't lift up. If you put them both on the same side, the back could lift up, or you put them on the other side, the front could lift up. So if you stagger them, put them diagonally, that should work out well. So I'm gonna sand these and then just probably just primer them and just put a quick paint coat on it. Nothing too crazy. So I think I'm gonna go to the hardware store, see what thread type this is, and then get a bolt, put it up in there, tighten this down, and then I'll probably see how many washers it's going to take and then just space it down. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but just space it down, maybe 1 to 2 washers, and then good to go, I think. So I could self-adjust all the other feet, but I think that this is gonna, I like this better, everything nice and tight. So the head of the bolt will be right there, going in, bolted down, but you'll see it in the next shot. But I'm going to take these, sand them all down, and then just paint them. Whatever you guys decide to do on your project, it's this is basically what I'm using. You could use a strap, so some of the same hooks I've used in this project before, you could use the straps instead of getting this metal, because you're gonna have to cut it, and it's, you know, decently thick. All right, so on to the next step. Okay, it's the next day. I got those brackets I made out of that C-channel all painted up. Stopped at the hardware store. So replacing the feet, let's see, here it is. So basically this is just a Phillips screw with a nut on it. So I guess I basically could have unscrewed this and taken it out, but so I went to the hardware store, figured out that this was a 5/16, got 5/16 bolts. Gonna go like that. Gonna bolt that up underneath it, and then I got some extra washers so that I could space it out. I like how all the feet are just bottomed out. I'm already having clearance issues. I may take off these handles, but I already have clearance issues right there, so I'd rather not raise it up. I'll put this on one side, see how everything feels, see if it's level, because 1 foot's out right now. If it's level, then we're good. Probably only need 1 washer, but I got extras. You can always use extra washers. These are the bolts that I got that are going to go through the top, through the floor, and then be bolted underneath. I tried to find some bigger, thick washers. They didn't have anything, surprisingly. I looked for a fender washer, didn't see anything. These should be fine. A lot of surface area there. I did get nylon locking nuts. I think anything automotive, you should get nylon locking nuts. The only time that these don't work is in high temperature environments where the nylon can melt. So I'm gonna go back there, figure out what corners are gonna be most beneficial to having locked down, because you can see some of them, you know, there's a bracket. So it might be this corner and the far corner might be the best ones to do because of the angle it's at. And also when these are in there, they may not be able to be like a 90 out. It might have to be like that or like that, depending. So not gonna really know that until it's over there. But this is the part where let's hope all of my measurements work. All right. All right, so I figured out which side is going to be best for the feet. I'm using some wood to prop it up, and now I'm getting underneath and just putting those feet on, tightening them down. This part's pretty straightforward, so wouldn't be concerned about this part. So this is the part that is definitely more challenging. I believe there's only about a 1/4 inch of room, and to try to lift it and then shimmy it and lift it and shimmy it just to get it into here. And now that it's in here, I'm going to have to line up those brackets and then mark a hole. So then I'm going to then have to pull it back out so that I can drill those holes. So now all we have to do is slide it back in and line it up on those holes, and it should be right about where I wanted it. All right, we're going to do the far one. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, now that the dehumidifier's in, yeah, I did have a little trouble with that last bolt right there. So I had to scoot the thing over and then drill another hole, but it's in. So underneath this shelf, I kind of have to build my way out this way. And right here-ish, I'm thinking right here is going to be the water filters. Here's going to be the pump. And then on this side, the batteries. Hopefully we have enough room for all this. So what needs to go right here, though, since I have 4 batteries. Okay, so I'm going to put this piece of wood that I just cut out right there. There's a scrap piece of wood, and somehow magically it looks perfect right here. So what the purpose of this is I got 4 of these batteries. So I need to put a bus bar, the other bus bar right there, and then the battery monitor right in here somewhere. So everything coming off of the batteries will plug into the bus bars, go through the battery monitor, go up along the backside of this, and then up to those bus bars, which are plugged into the inverter, and the solar system's plugged into it too, and then all the power for everything. So that is the goal right now, to put this in, and then once all of these are screwed at the top, then start lining up the batteries, and then start figuring out how those are going to be mounted, and then how much actual room is left over. All right, so right here I'm just test fitting everything, getting everything all lined up, mounting the bus blocks, mounting the battery shunt sensor. This is a little tedious, but I think the payoff is at the end when everything lines up and it looks good. It's also the neater job you do, the easier it's going to be to diagnose problems in the future. But I really enjoy this part, crimping wires, heat shrinking them. This part's pretty enjoyable, and it has a pretty cool reward at the end when you see everything working. All right, got everything mounted. There's the positive, negative. The screws don't really stick out through the back here, because one of my thoughts is like the dehumidifier right here. I can coil up the wire and leave it back here. So this is now like a cubby for the wire. So just screwed it to there. It's not glued in case it needs to come off. So the batteries are going to be right about here, and positives are going to go there. I got to make this really cute little small cable going from there to there, and then this one's just going to come off. So arc it up there and then go underneath there, and then go on the back side of the shelves to keep the wires out of the way. I believe we were using 2 gauge before, so now I'm going to use all of the 2 gauge for the batteries going to the bus blocks, but from the bus blocks to the other bus blocks, I'm going with this 1-0 gauge, and I don't know if you can see it right there, but it's pretty hefty. So solid copper, no aluminum clad copper. So yeah, I'm gonna make the little things right now. So basically I'm going to get the wires from here to here to there, from there going to here, tie it all, lock it in, going up to those bus blocks up there, and then work on the batteries down here. I'll probably line up all the batteries and then see what my mounting options are. All right, now time to finish up the wiring here. We're wiring all the way up to the battery shutoff switch. That does have a bigger copper lead that's going into it, so I'm replacing that because we're doing all this with that 1-0 gauge wire, and so that it flows as much current as possible. If you start to feel your wires getting a little hot, you probably should go up a gauge size. All right, so now we're mounting in all the batteries. We're starting to line everything up, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to mount them and what's that going to look like. These batteries are a little heavy each, so just getting everything all nice and lined up and moved in just to see how much room I have to work with and play. Eventually just start getting the tape measure out, getting wood, and I box them in and then strap them down. All right, so here's a cool top-down view. You can see me connecting every battery to the bus blocks. You have a bunch of open terminals here, so just be careful. Don't set any metal tools on top of the batteries. This is enough amperage to actually, my elbow was kind of sweaty as I was working on this, and I kind of started feeling like a little tingle with it. Even though it was in that 12 to 14 volt range, it was still, you know, hundreds of amps, so I could still actually feel a little bit of tingling there. So don't underestimate this amount of amperage. Take your time and be cautious with this part, but I think it comes out pretty cool looking. Okay, it was a little bit messy, but I feel like it's worth it. Check this guy out. Okay, so this is the battery monitor. Got this tiny little cute little deal coming off there. So that is a 1 gauge, surprisingly. 1-0 gauge going into this guy. Wired everything up there that you saw in the time lapse. Tried to do this in like a mirror image. I do have caps for these. I have caps for them all. I'm probably going to disconnect everything because I'm about to leave the, for the day. Kind of just, makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up a little bit. I'd rather all this percolate all day while I'm here. So, how we mounted these. The mounting's not technically all the way done, but so there's I believe it's like a 1x2, and then those same strap loops that I used to strap down the refrigerator and the back of the shelves, these guys, they're kind of hard to find, so I'll have a link in the description for them. So basically, I took a strap, I cut off the hook right there, cut off the hook, put it around the strap, went down into there, went in between here, so the wood is spacing it. So then it's going in there, coming around here, and then I cut off the back part of the hook of the strap and just screwed this to the wall. I'm probably going to cut these and, singe the end because they don't need to be that long, but you're going to have to pull this one tight and then pull that one because inevitably this one's a little bit tighter than this one, but I'm moving the whole trailer. So what I was saying by they're not fully mounted yet, I'm going to buy another piece of that and then just block it in this way going to here. So I'll cut the piece from here to here, you'll see it, so that way they can't slide this way. I did put a piece of wood in the middle so they I don't know if you can see it. It's down in there. And then I want to put one that way, just in case all the vibrations when you're moving, if the strap loosens up, I don't want them to be able to slide this way from braking or accelerating or going uphill or downhill. So this little insurance, I'm gonna put that, put another piece like this there. It'll also make it look pretty nice. It'll look all framed out. It'll just, so that guy's all mounted. So this is what I was talking about. I'm building this way. Also, everything right here is not glued down. It's just screwed down, so that there's a feasible way to get that back out in case there's a problem with it. Theoretically, it could fit out that door. Be a little tight, but it's theoretical. I do have little boots for these all, so I wouldn't worry about any of that. The bottom part of the bus block cover, I trimmed that off to see what will fit. I think I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more. My thought here is it probably doesn't matter, but I really like the idea of all the batteries right here and then this pulling from there. In my head, I was just concerned that it might have the tendency to try to pull from one battery a little bit harder if I plugged another battery into here. So everything's in the bus block. So this, in my head, is just pulling from the bus block, and now it's nothing I need to be concerned about or worry about or anything. So yeah. So pretty excited. Everything seems to be working out here. I changed the amps on the array. I changed that, so now this is at 22% because I think there's only one battery that's full. The ideal way to set up that battery monitor is to individually fully charge every one and then plug it in and then tell it where it's at. But I don't have a specific charger for these lithium batteries, which they do take a very specific charger, apparently. So I'm just going to charge them with the solar. So next time I'm here, I'm probably going to take off all these boots, and then I'm going to put the boots on, hook everything up, take it outside, let the solar system charge it, and then we'll see where we're at. Still a little bit of wiring to do. I gotta fish the dehumidifier's cable up through here, up through there, get it ready to be able plugged into the inverter. This is the excess cable to the battery monitor. I would love to trim it, but realistically, this is why I got that cubby, and I'm probably just gonna tuck it back in there once I figure out where I want everything up there. So I think everything's, we're getting there. It's not too bad, but all right. All right, so it's the next day. I'm finishing up all the wiring. I'm finishing up all the trimming for the bus block covers, and then I'm going to put all these little booties on top of all of the terminals for the batteries. At this point, it is done, and I'm going to see how it starts to perform, and I'm going to wheel it outside to start charging all the batteries through the solar system. All right, redid the battery connections, put the little booties on. I was always going to do that, just didn't want to leave it unhooked the whole day. I actually have it outside right now charging up. So I reset this, told it that there was, 824, I believe, amp hours. So now got it charging. It's got 722 watts coming in, 53.5 amps. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. In the next episode, we finish mounting up the water pump, the filters, the water tank. After the next episode, I think everything should be dialed in and ready to go, ready for testing and ready for the next trip. So thanks for watching. If you're finding this content interesting or helpful, please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment down below. Thanks for watching. That really helps us out.